Avoid these 13 common reading mistakes. Reading is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth, professional development, and mental well-being. Yet, despite its benefits, many people fail to get the most out of their reading efforts. The reason is simple. They are unknowingly making common reading mistakes that sabotage their progress and make the experience less enjoyable. Have you ever felt like you were reading an entire chapter only to realize you absorbed nothing? Do you often find yourself rereading the same page multiple times or struggling to finish books you were once excited to start? If so, you are not alone. Millions of people experience these issues, and the frustration it brings can lead to giving up on reading altogether. This problem is not only common, but also preventable. The truth is that most of these mistakes are easy to correct once you know what they are and how to avoid them. Imagine how much time you could save if you didn't have to reread chapters. Picture how much more confident you would feel discussing the books you've read if you could actually recall the key points without hesitation. What if reading could be a smooth, enjoyable process that not only entertained you but also sharpened your mind? The unfortunate reality is that many people never reach this point because they are stuck in cycles of inefficient reading habits. Consider this. Studies have shown that the average person reads at a rate of 200 to 300 words per minute, yet people who actively work on improving their reading habits can increase that rate to over 500 words per minute. The difference in productivity is undeniable. While one person finishes one book in a month, the other could read 2 or even 3. The gap widens over time, leading to missed opportunities for learning, growth, and self-improvement. Every extra minute spent rereading pages or battling distractions could have been spent diving into new ideas, concepts, or adventures. The cost of these mistakes isn't just time. It's also a blow to your motivation and self-confidence. When reading feels like a chore, the natural response is to avoid it. This avoidance only worsens the problem, and suddenly a hobby that should bring joy becomes a source of stress. Fortunately, you don't have to remain stuck in this loop. By identifying and avoiding these 13 common reading mistakes, you can transform your experience into one of clarity, enjoyment, and growth. The first mistake is reading without a purpose. Too many people pick up a book without a clear reason for doing so, leading to aimless reading and low retention. Instead, set a clear objective before you start. Ask yourself why you're reading the book and what you want to gain from it. The second mistake is reading for too long without breaks. Research from cognitive science suggests that the human brain retains information better in shorter, focused sessions. Instead of marathon reading sessions, aim for 25 to 30-minute bursts of focused attention with short breaks in between. This approach is known as the Pomodoro technique and has been proven to increase productivity and retention. The third mistake is reading in a noisy or distracting environment. Your brain's attention system is designed to detect and respond to stimuli. So if you're reading in a space filled with background noise, notifications, or constant interruptions, your brain's focus will shift away from the page. Instead, create a quiet, dedicated space for reading. Turn off notifications, use noise-canceling headphones, or go to a library where the environment encourages focus. The fourth mistake is relying too heavily on subvocalization. This is the habit of mentally hearing every word you read. While subvocalization can help with comprehension, it slows you down significantly. The average speaking rate is about 150 words per minute, while the brain can process text at more than double that speed. To overcome this, try to recognize words as visual symbols rather than hearing them in your mind. The fifth mistake is skipping pre-reading. Many people dive straight into a book without scanning it first. Pre-reading involves flipping through the chapters, looking at headings, subheadings, and summaries. This step activates your brain's prediction system and primes it to recognize key concepts as you read. Studies have found that pre-reading increases comprehension and recall. The sixth mistake is reading without taking notes. Our brains are designed to forget information that isn't actively used. Writing down key takeaways, questions, and thoughts as you read helps solidify your understanding. This can be done using a simple notebook, sticky notes, or note-taking apps. The seventh mistake is not reviewing the material. Just like cramming for a test only works for a short time, reading a book once and never reviewing it will result in forgetfulness. Spaced repetition, A method where you review information at increasing intervals has been proven to significantly improve long-term retention. Instead of waiting until you forget, schedule short reviews of your notes after 1 day, 1 week, and 1 month. The eighth mistake is reading at a slow pace out of habit. Many people think that they must read at the same speed for every type of text, but reading fiction for pleasure and reading a technical manual require different approaches. You should adjust your speed based on the complexity of the material, skim through familiar parts, and slow down for new challenging concepts. The ninth mistake is not asking questions while reading. Passive reading leads to low engagement, while active reading keeps you alert and connected to the material. Before starting a chapter, ask, "What do I hope to learn from this section?" As you read, question the author's claims and how they relate to what you already know. The 10th mistake is multitasking while reading. Trying to read while watching TV or checking your phone is a recipe for failure. Studies show that multitasking reduces cognitive performance and increases errors. Treat reading as a single task activity. The 11th mistake is quitting books too early or too late. Some people abandon books at the first sign of boredom, while others feel compelled to finish even if they're not enjoying it. Adopt a 10% rule. If you're not engaged after reading 10% of the book, it's okay to stop and move on. The 12th mistake is focusing solely on quantity over quality. While reading more books each year may seem impressive on the surface, it often leads to shallow comprehension and limited retention. People are frequently drawn to the idea of reading 50 or 100 books in a year, but if the content is not fully understood or applied, the effort becomes little more than an exercise in vanity. The concept is often referred to as chasing vanity metrics, where the focus is on the number of books completed rather than the depth of knowledge gained. When readers prioritize quantity, they're more likely to skim pages, rush through chapters, and miss key insights that could have a lasting impact on their growth. Instead of chasing high numbers, it's more beneficial to select a few impactful books and engage with them deeply. This means taking the time to pause, reflect, and truly grasp the concepts being presented. When you prioritize quality, you create opportunities for growth, self-improvement, and practical application of the knowledge you acquire. For instance, instead of reading 10 books on leadership, it might be more effective to read 2 or 3 thoroughly, take notes, and apply the lessons to real-life situations. This approach allows for a richer, more meaningful learning experience. The 13th mistake is failing to reflect on what you've read. Reflection is a crucial step that transforms raw information into meaningful knowledge. Without it, the insights and lessons from a book are easily forgotten. After completing a book, it's essential to pause and think critically about its content. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this? How can I apply these lessons to my daily life? And are there any concepts I want to explore further? This process of self-inquiry allows for deeper connections between the material and your personal experiences. Reflection also strengthens memory and retention by encouraging you to actively engage with the content rather than passively consuming it. Studies in cognitive psychology have shown that active recall and reflection significantly improve long-term memory. Writing down key takeaways, summarizing chapters, or discussing ideas with others can further reinforce understanding. Many successful individuals attribute their ability to apply book knowledge in real-life situations to this reflective practice. It's not enough to merely finish a book. True growth happens when you take the time to think critically, connect ideas, and identify actionable steps. By incorporating reflection into your reading routine, you can maximize the value of every book you read and ensure that the knowledge stays with you for years to come. By avoiding these 13 common reading mistakes, you'll experience greater clarity, faster progress, and deeper understanding. Your reading will no longer feel like a chore, but a rewarding part of your personal and professional journey. With these new strategies, you'll be able to read more, remember more, and achieve more. The effort you put into mastering these habits will pay off in every area of your life. The best time to start is now. Don't let these mistakes hold you back any longer. Take control of your reading habits and watch your growth accelerate.